We've got another email question that's already popped in. And folks, the phone lines are open, 850-392-1544, or you can email us like these folks have at lawcall@wmbb.com. I think this next one has to do more with Rhonda. Let's go to that one real quick. I have a mortgage loan. Is there anything that I can do to protect myself? I think I'm going to miss a payment or two because of some unexpected medical bills. And this is from Matt. And Matt, we don't know where you are, but I think we can kind of handle that question. Rhonda, you mentioned people are coming to you now before a foreclosure is filed, and that is very wise. And so, Matt, you've run into a situation here where you are behind, or you think you're going to be behind because of some unexpected medical bills. One of the #1 reasons people get behind is, unexpected medical debt. Let's talk about that for a moment, Rhonda. What can you do for Matt, or what do you advise Matt to do?
Well, I'd advise Matt to stay in contact with his mortgage company first. Don't stick your head in the sand. It's something that you need to address. What we like to know is who you're dealing with. Who's your mortgage company? And I also like to know what kind of loan you have. If you have certain loans that are backed, like an FHA loan, a USDA loan, a VA loan, Fannie, Freddie, those kind of loans that are backed by the government, there's all kinds of guidelines and things that they're supposed to follow. So I like to know that. But the first thing that we want to make sure that he does is he stays in contact with his mortgage company and lets them know what's going on, so they're up to date on what's going on.
Is there any way for somebody like Matt to avoid late fees or avoid penalties, or do a kind of a predetermined workout? For instance, you're off of work for 90 days, you're depleted your savings in that 90 days, and now you know that you're going to miss September because you're just now getting back to work, and you got all these other bills that have piled up. Is there anything that somebody like Matt or in his position can do?
Well, again, that has to do with who handles, who's servicing the mortgage and what those mortgage guidelines say. There are certain programs where they can do deferments, and they can give them a little bit of a leeway to help them with those payments. Sometimes the servicers won't do that, and I'm using the term mortgage servicer because that's who they make their payment to.
Right.
That's who they need to be talking to.
So, let's talk about this just for a moment, because there are some terms there that we just mentioned. Mortgage servicer versus mortgage holder versus, an assignment. Tell people what happens when they take out a mortgage, what goes on behind the scenes, as they say. They say, oh, I went to my bank and I got a mortgage.
Right.
All right, that's all well and good, but what happens to that piece of paper, that document, after they get the mortgage?
Well, most of the time what happens is that you go to the bank and you go maybe you talk to the local bank there and you get a loan. And then they take those and they bundle them up. For the most part, this is how it happens. They bundle them up, and then they pool them off, or they sell them off, and then someone else comes along and buys those. So just because
so the mortgage is assigned to somebody else.
Or sold.
Or sold even.
Sold, yeah. So you might start with your favorite banker there, and
good old Rhonda down there, she lent me the money. She knew I was good for it, and now it's off to,
yeah, somebody in New York.
Ally Bank Financial,
right,
or whoever it may be, and now you're dealing with a service agent that might be based, like you said, where New York, Connecticut,
yeah,
California, Philippines, who knows, right?
But just because it goes from one mortgage company to the other, that may not be who actually, like you said, holds it. Then it's almost like a landlord, where you have somebody that owns the building, and then you have somebody else that you go pay your rent payments to. It's the same thing. The servicer's taking that money. So that's usually who you're dealing with, and they have to act as the agent for whoever owns that loan.
You might have a service company, like you said, like a management company at an apartment complex. The owner may be some, high-flying, group out of New York, but they got a local management company or a management company that comes in. And the same way with mortgages, they've got servicers that come in. And so sometimes servicers change hands too.
Of course.
But you said one of the most important things about this is what type of loan is it? An FHA loan, a VA loan, a Freddie Mac loan, standard loans, private commercial mortgage loans. Right. Some of these programs, though, if it's a VA loan, do they have like a different set of rules than a bank loan?
Well, so most mortgages are covered under federal regulations, first of all, so we start with that. But then when you get into like a VA loan, for instance, they have specific guidelines because we want to help our veterans. And so they have specific guidelines on what they have to do, which may be different than what Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac tells their servicers they have to do.
Gotcha. And we've got a lot of veterans. We've got a lot of veterans that watch the show. Mr. Gary Starr, a proud veteran that watches the show frequently. We like to say hello to him. You got your early shout out, but of course you'll get one later on as well. So take care of the veterans. And then also the FHA loans. Those usually are minimal or no down payment type loans still today, even in 2025.
Yeah, they are. And again, that servicing and the things that they have to do and the guidelines and all that, those are changing. There's some new changes that are coming to that, and it's going to be probably complicated for the servicers. I've already looked into those guidelines, and so we're a little concerned about those servicers really following those guidelines. But we want to make sure that that happens so people can get the assistance that they need. But there's big, thick, fun guidelines that we get to read through.
And that's why you need an attorney to help sometimes, get through these particular items here.